Parents, students, and administrators. Visit pcadevzone.org.
Is this the tackle?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
Both of LA's baseball teams got a win last night. The Dodgers won their first game of the season against San Diego. They beat the Padres 8-7 in 10 innings in San Diego. The Angels beat Oakland 7-4 in Anaheim. Fifth straight win for the Angels over the A's. The Sparks lost for the second time this season to Golden State, the WNBA's new expansion franchise. Golden State held on for an 89-81 win at Crypto.com. The Sparks are 1-5 at home. Troubling news at Florida A&M. The HBCU school's athletic director, Angela Suggs, was arrested Monday on charges of fraud and theft. Police in Tallahassee, Florida claim Suggs ran up $24,000 in personal charges on a company credit card at a previous job. Suggs was released on bail. Florida A&M President Timothy Beard said he's aware of the charges surrounding Suggs, but gave no indication on how he plans to handle the situation. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
LA's newest soul food restaurant is getting spectacular reviews. Great place with amazing food. The Sunday champagne brunch is fabulous. I saw the place on IG. We tried it for lunch. We were blown away by the food and the service. The restaurant has an inviting atmosphere and a dynamic vibe. Over the years, Lionel has catered most major Black events in Los Angeles, including all of our KBLA Talk 1580 gatherings. But now he has his own spot, Lionel's Soul Food Cuisine, and you need to check it out at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles. Oxtails, baked or fried chicken, meatloaf, turkey chops, pork chops, catfish, short ribs, and all the fixins. Collard greens, mac and cheese, yams, red beans, black-eyed peas, and more. And of course, hot water cornbread, satisfying drinks, and delicious desserts. Lionel's is a great place for brunch, lunch, or dinner. If it's good enough for us, it's good enough for you, because we've got your black. So, head on over to Lionel's Soul Food Cuisine at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles and tell Lionel you heard about it on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's the music of Sly Stone, Sly and the Family Stone. All 3 hours of our program today, you have no doubt heard by now that Sylvester Stewart passed away yesterday at the age of 82, and we are celebrating the rich musical legacy of Sly Stone. All 3 hours of our program today. It's June, and June is Black Music Month. You know how we do it around here in June. We love the month of June because it gives us an excuse, not that we need one, to play black music all 3 hours of every program. But in the month of June, Black Music Month, we choose a different artist every day whose music we feature on this program, in and out of these amazing conversations with great guests like two I'm about to introduce to you in just a second. So today, given his transition yesterday, all 3 hours, we're celebrating the music of Sly and the Family Stone. In this hour, as promised, two conversations on the backside of this hour, back of this hour, yeah. I'm in hour two, right? This is hour two, yeah. 3 hours, I get lost sometimes. On the backside of this hour, Grammy-nominated singer, producer, and founder of the legendary R&B group Club Nouveau, our friend and brother Jay King, joins us to tribute Sly Stone. We'll talk about the multifaceted funk frontman and visionary musician, again, who made his transition yesterday. So we'll celebrate Sly for real, on the B side of this hour when Jay King comes on in about 25 minutes from now. But we commence this hour with our friends and brothers, Rabbi Stephen Jacobs and Edward Ahmed Mitchell of CARE, the Council on American-Islamic Relations, for a timely conversation, I think, about domestic and global conflicts around religious identity. Edward, good to have you back on the program, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank God. Thank you for having me, Tavis.
Good to have you. Rabbi Jacobs, how are you, sir? We have getting Rabbi Jacobs. Okay, we'll just straighten out. Okay, let's get him straightened out on the phone line, and I'll start with Everett. Everett, there are two things I want to ask you right quick for starters while we're getting Rabbi Jacobs on the line. For starters, number one, I just mentioned this travel ban. We closed our last hour with our guest talking about this travel ban that went into effect yesterday, mostly black and brown countries that Donald Trump is denying entrance to the United States. Your read on this travel ban, sir?
Yeah, well, it's essentially a Muslim and Africa travel ban, whereas the first Muslim ban 8 years ago was mainly focused on Muslim majority countries. This one is expanded to several Muslim and numerous African countries. To us, it's another, very implicit sign of this administration's hostility towards immigration by people of color. It's an unnecessary ban. It's an overbroad ban. And it is ideologically motivated. I mean, the president has made it clear that he has an issue with certain people based on their religious views, their political views from coming to this country, and that the administration prefers white immigrants of a certain economic class coming to this country. Hence why they fast-tracked white South Africans coming here based on some nonsense claim about a genocide happening in that country. So, we strongly oppose the ban. However, having said that, unlike the first ban that he tried to implement back in 2017, this one it was much more carefully done. He put in a lot of security rationale. He took time to do it. And so it's likely that it would be much more difficult to legally challenge this ban at this point because of the context around it and because of the last Supreme Court ruling that upheld a similar version of a ban back in 2019. So we're going to wait and see how it's implemented and see whether or not there needs to be a legal challenge, but it's troubling for various reasons.
You mentioned Gaza. It's been fascinating for me, and maybe fascinating is the wrong word. It's been troubling for me, disappointing, distressing for me, to be more accurate, to watch the ways in which Donald Trump, Edward, has used these attacks on the Jewish community that we've all witnessed of late. Nobody condones that, but it's been fascinating to watch the way he's used these attacks on that community to then engage in a violation of various American principles. That's the way I read it. Have you read it the same way?
Well, the irony is that even before these horrific and unacceptable attacks on Jewish Americans and on the Israeli embassy staffers, the president was already cracking down on free speech based solely on his opposition to criticism of the Israeli government. Now, you've had these violent incidents occur, which, should be condemned by everyone. And so that has given him even more motivation and cover to try to attack free speech in this country. But the fact is that every American and every person here has the right to criticize their own government and certainly has the right to criticize a foreign government. And those who engage in violence should be put in jail. That's where they belong. But the rest of us should not be targeted based on our peaceful speech because of the actions of a few extremists. And the president knows that, and his issue is with free speech. It's not with any of these recent violent incidents. So regardless of whether or not they happen, he'd still be attacking the free speech of Americans and others speaking up for Palestinian human rights.
No doubt about that. When we come forward, we'll be joined in this conversation by Rabbi Stephen Jacobs, alongside Everett Ahmed Mitchell of CARE, as we push forward in this conversation about domestic and global conflicts around the idea, the notion of religious identity. When we come forward, I'll start with Rabbi Jacobs asking him just to sound off about what he's witnessing, what he's feeling. With regard to what's happening in our city right about now. We spent the good part of our first hour talking about that, but he lives here as well. So I want to get his take on how he's processing what's happening on the streets of Los Angeles right now, how this Trump administration is forcing these troops on us at the cost of $135 million. You're listening to Stephen Jacobs, the great rabbi, and Edward Ahmed Mitchell on Tavis Smiley.
Agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321-321. That's EQUAL to 321-321.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Rabbi Stephen Jacobs, it's the music of Sly Stone. What say you, sir, about what the everyday people of Los Angeles are being subjected to right about now, sir?
Well, thank you. Good morning. You don't have to be a psychoanalyst to know that Trump just loves chaos since his childhood. He wants destruction and violence. And when you see somebody like Ted Cruz, who retweets a clip from May 2020 from the Black Lives Matter and the George Floyd protest and puts it out in Los Angeles, as if that's the violence. He is playing us and like a violin, except one of Trump's strings just broke and another one is about to break. And I want to tell you something. I'm joined by my brother from CARE in terms of this tremendous challenge. I want to pivot right away to the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, who denigrated the Black Lives Movement and equated it to pro-Palestinian protests to ISIS and Al-Qaeda. This is another one of the strings that is broken, that has tried to create a divisiveness between the Muslim Palestinian community and the Jewish community. We will not stand for it. We will not accept Jonathan Greenblatt. We will not accept Ted Cruz, and we are going to continually stand up for what this indifference is, to convince our people that the opposite of love is not hatred, it's indifference. Hatred elicits responses. This is Indifference allows suffering to go unchecked, and Trump and Ted Cruz and the others in Los Angeles will no longer go unchecked. The violin string is broken, another one is broken, and we've got much in common to oppose.
Yep. Edward, to the point that Rabbi Jacobs, the powerful points he's making right now, what does a moment like this do? Let me rephrase that. What does a moment like this present as opportunity for people of different religious beliefs, people of different faith traditions? A moment like this is an opportunity for all of us to do what, Edward?
Look, I think that as we see the tension in Los Angeles turning into a potential authoritarian moment, as we see incidents like the violence that was perpetrated against Jewish Americans in Colorado, as we see the continued rise in anti-Muslim bigotry, anti-Palestinian racism, all of us in various communities have a chance to stand in solidarity with each other when all these respective things occur. The Latino community, the Jewish community, the Black community, the Muslim community, we all are getting multiple chances, sadly, to stand beside each other and support each other when we are facing these respective and various injustices. And so I'm very happy to see that at most of these protests that have occurred, you will see obviously Latino Americans, you will see Black Americans, you will see Jewish Americans, and you'll see people holding a Free Palestine flag as well. You are seeing the diversity of America coming together to stand in solidarity with their brothers and sisters of different faiths and races. So often, we are categorized, we are compartmentalized that, okay, it's only Muslims who support human rights or Palestinians. It's only Jews who care about anti-Semitism. It's only Latinos who care about ICE raids. No, all of us should care about all of these things, and we should stand in solidarity with each other and not let bad actors divide us.
Rabbi Jacobs, tell me more about the ways in which you see Trump showing up with regard to his political agenda, really cementing, that's the word I want, really cementing racism and religious intolerance as a part of his legacy, a dangerous part of his legacy. That's how I see it. Tell me what you see.
Well, I happen to agree with that. I think that he has been successful up to now in trying to drive a wedge between the Palestinians, the Muslims, and the Jewish community. Let's look at what he did about anti-Semitism, which he thinks that he is the savior and coming out against anti-Semitism, when the very thing that he does at Harvard in terms of researches, which is for the health of America and if not for the world, and he goes after the researchers and cancels the support, the financial support, and those who were doing research at Harvard, for a great part, are Jews. Mm-hmm. And so they have this divide where we're like indifferent to it. Like the people believe that he's standing up to anti-Semitism. He's causing it. He and Netanyahu are the biggest impediments to peace and bringing people together. And when you have people who kill others, who put up something and say free Palestine from them is not a call for violence against Jews. It furthers the hatred against Muslims and Palestinians and Jews. That's what we're standing up for.
Yeah. Everett, you see it that way? Do you see Trump advancing an agenda that deepens the hatred of the Muslim community?
Well, he's been doing that for 8 years. Mm-hmm. No question about that. When he ran for office the first time, in addition to calling for a total ban on all Muslims, he said Islam hates us, and then he surrounded himself with anti-Muslim extremists. I would say that this time his rhetoric about Muslims has certainly softened. I don't think we've been at the top of his target list. Even this, recent travel ban, came months into his administration. And so certainly he has redirected his attention towards other issues in other communities, but we're still on the menu. And we're very concerned about other communities who are being targeted in our place.
Yeah, Rabbi Jacobs, when you founded and established the Rabbi Stephen B. Jacobs, Progressive Faith Foundation, you did so born of your devotion to interfaith dialogue and community. What say you about where we find ourselves at the moment with regard to interfaith dialogue in this country?
I think it's more powerful than ever. Religious leaders from all across the community, from Clue to my friends in the Christian community, and rabbis. There are 4 rabbis that are standing up with the interfaith community. There's a big gathering this evening in Los Angeles to speak out, and I think that the religious community has something to say and to shift the conversation and see how we're being manipulated. The interreligious community now is coming out in opposition to Resolution 485. I believe that Palestinian and Jewish safety are deeply connected. We have a shared humanity. We must recognize the root causes of ongoing violence and colonial oppression, and that's what the interfaith community is doing.
Yeah. Edward, I said earlier in today's program that what's happened here in L.A. in many respects is, to my mind, a WMD, a weapon of mass distraction, because it's hard to focus on other things that really matter when you see troops, thousands of troops, being sent to L.A. Against the wishes of the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, against the wishes of the governor of this state, Gavin Newsom. The city of L.A. is rather peaceful, and yet these troops keep coming, the National Guard, the Marines. It's as if Trump is picking a fight, as if he would love nothing more than to see bloodshed on the streets of Los Angeles. So he's stoking the fire here in a variety of ways. But when you have a weapon of mass distraction like this, you lose sight of other things that we ought to be focused on, like this budget that he's trying to pass that would hurt, harm, and maim, and frankly cause the death of many Americans. If you defund Medicaid and other programs, this really is these issues really are issues of life and death. I raise that only to ask, with regard to what's happening specifically right now in the Middle East, which has not been the focus of many of us for the past few days. Again, given what's happening in L.A., what are we missing right now, Edward?
Well, one thing I want to note, Tavis, is the reason why protests broke out is the nature in which ICE has been targeting immigrants and sometimes accidentally U.S. citizens. They are showing up on city streets, at places of worship, at offices, wearing plain clothes, sometimes wearing masks, and they're just grabbing people without going through any sort of normal law enforcement process by identifying yourself, having a full-blown warrant. And when you have people who are not wearing police uniforms, who are wearing masks, just grabbing people, it's going to be very upsetting and it's going to spark a backlash. And that is part of the reason why these protests were triggered in Los Angeles. And now it's a vicious cycle, because the more troops come out, the more people are going to get upset and turn out to protest. And we have seen already incidents of brutality by, police actually, but also by the military. And so there is a real danger that the president can use this to set a precedent that troops can be deployed to any city, on very flimsy basis. And, that takes us down an authoritarian path. Now, as you just noted, Tavis, because we're all focused on this, we're not talking about the fact that children are still starving to death in Gaza, that people are being murdered every day in massive bombings in Gaza, that the people being held there, captive there, are also at risk of being killed. And yes, we're not talking about issues in the budget that are dangerous potentially to civil rights, like language that would make it difficult for courts to hold the administration in contempt for violating court orders, in addition to all the economic things that you mentioned. So, the administration is very good at using a fire hose to just kind of overwhelm you with the number of things that are happening. But it's very important for those of us who are activists and people with faith who are activists to make sure that we can balance all these spinning plates and address them all at the same time and not get distracted.
So we played audio of the mayor earlier, Mayor Bass, that is, earlier on this program, where she said that she believes that the Trump administration is using L.A. as a test case, Edward, a test case. She says she sees them using L.A. as an experiment. I think she's right about that, but if in fact she is right that L.A. is a test case, if it is an experiment, it is a test case and experiment, to your mind, Edward, for what?
Well, look, we are very hesitant to be hysterical about the administration and what it might do. We try to deal in facts and what they actually are doing.
Sure.
But there has always been a fear that in the worst case scenario, you could see the president do something very extreme, like Stephen Miller suggested, like suspending habeas corpus, declaring that all this, illegal immigration constitutes an invasion, and that all the normal processes that protect American citizens and others, including the right to due process, could be suspended. and you could have, American troops on the streets policing the American people. That's kind of the worst case scenario, a suspension of the normal rules of due process. So again, are we there yet outside of Los Angeles? Even in Los Angeles? No, not yet. But you could see this incident, leading to more escalation in various cities. So that's the worst case scenario that we would envision. Yeah. And we certainly want to make sure that the administration knows the American people would not tolerate that. You would have massive protests across the country if the administration ever decided to pursue what Stephen Miller has suggested, which is really, creating an authoritarian environment without any guardrails.
Rabbi Jacobs, I say this lovingly, you are what I call chronologically gifted. You've been around for a while. You've seen a lot. I wonder, given all that you've seen in your lifetime, all that you've endured in your lifetime, all the work and witness you've engaged in during your lifetime, how you situate this particular moment historically. And I'm talking now about religious intolerance. I'm talking about these conflicts around religious identity. I'm talking about what Donald Trump is doing here in L.A. right now. Just historically, how do you situate, sir, this moment?
Well, we have a long history of resilience and a long history of people, when they get so upset, they want revenge. But instead of revenge, we have to pursue justice. Instead of destruction, we have to really depend on community and choose community. Instead of fear, we've got to choose endurance. Instead of violence, we have to pursue peace. And as our friend Jesse Jackson always says, and always says, keep hope alive. From hatred and war, from trauma to trauma over the centuries, we have to heal. We have to have that kind of leadership. We have to recover and grasp the vision of Jesus, of Moses, of Goethe, of Tolstoy, of Travis Smiley, and all of us who practice resilience that has been woven into the values to keep us hopeful and alive. Resilience, 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 and not be indifferent to the hatred that we're experiencing. Hatred elicits responses. Indifference elicits no response. Indifference allows suffering to go unchecked. We cannot let that go on. Silence must be avoided. Action like you call for every day. What you're doing and speaking out and grasping the ideals and the dreams, not the nightmares of people that we can pursue. Trump will not escalate us to violence. He will not escalate us. We who loves chaos, we will pursue peace, and he will be, at some point, a matter of history in the books only.
Ahmed Mitchell, I'll give you the last word. I asked this question of a couple of guests a day or two ago on this program, but I want to ask it of you now. In a dark moment like this, how do we, sir, sustain our hope?
Well, look, I think, for those of us who are people of faith, Donald Trump is nothing new. In many ways, he has some of the qualities and tendencies that we have seen written about in our holy books. And injustice is nothing new. Genocide has occurred, sadly, before. Many different communities have seen it. And so, I think we retain hope in knowing that even in some of the darkest times, we have seen the good win out over the evil. There are moments when it looked like truly evil people were going to win. But they failed, and that dates from Bashar al-Assad in Syria, all the way back to Hitler in World War II, to various other evil incidents that have occurred here and abroad. Evil does not usually win in the end, and if it does win in this life, it's certainly not going to win in the next life. So I think we take hope in that good will eventually prevail. We just have to make sure that we are on the side of the good in this life, God willing.
Edward Ahmed Mitchell is the National Deputy Director of the Council on American-Islamic Relations. We call it CARE. And Rabbi Stephen Jacobs is the founder of the Rabbi Stephen B. Jacobs Progressive Faith Foundation, an organization devoted to interfaith dialogue and community. Honored to have had you both on this program. Thank you both for your time. All the best to you. More
Thank you.
My great honors. Thank you. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-971.
I'm Alexandria Ikamoni with BIN News Now. The U.S. Attorney General says a person who allegedly threw rocks at federal law enforcement vehicles during protests in Los Angeles County has been identified. She says federal authorities will prosecute protesters who commit crimes.
You can run, you can't hide. We are coming after you federally. If you assault a police officer, if you rob a store, if you loot, if you spit on a police officer, we're coming after you.
Diddy and his legal team are once again asking for a mistrial. The defense attorney claimed that the government committed misconduct by providing the prosecution with evidence that they knew was false. The material in question involves the allegations that Diddy dangled someone from an apartment balcony. Many black people are still processing the death of music icon Sly Stone. Sly and the Family Stone had hits like Family Affair and Everyday People. Get BIN News Now on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's baseball teams got a win last night. The Dodgers won their first game of the season against San Diego. They beat the Padres 8-7 in 10 innings in San Diego. The Angels beat Oakland 7-4 in Anaheim. Fifth straight win for the Angels over the A's. The Sparks lost for the second time this season to Golden State, the WNBA's new expansion franchise. Golden State held on for an 89-81 win at Crypto.com. The Sparks are 1-5 at home. Troubling news at Florida A&M. The HBCU school's athletic director, Angela Suggs, was arrested Monday on charges of fraud and theft. Police in Tallahassee, Florida claim Suggs ran up $24,000 in personal charges on a company credit card at a previous job. Suggs was released on bail. Florida A&M President Timothy Beard said he's aware of the charges surrounding Suggs, but gave no indication on how he plans to handle the situation. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. BET and PBS, the Tom Joyner Morning Show, and NPR, the cover of Jet and the cover of Time. #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, 20 honorary doctorate degrees, a dozen NAACP Image Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. From talk shows to talk radio, nobody's ever done it better. You like that? This is Tavis Smiley.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on. On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are two big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is Resilience in the Face of Chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Love you. Love you.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
It's the music of Sly Stone on Tavis Smiley. This is June, and as you know, June is Black Music Month, and around here we look forward to June, as I say all the time, because it gives us an opportunity to play the best of black music in every field. Gospel, we went all gospel yesterday. Gospel, blues, jazz, R&B, hip-hop, folk, reggae, run the list. In the month of June, every day we choose a different artist of the day. We play their music. We weave in and out of all these amazing conversations with the music of a particular artist. Sly Stone was not on the list today, but given his transition yesterday at the age of 82, we're playing the best of Sly, the Family Stone, all 3 hours of our program today. I'm delighted now to be joined by, speaking of great music and great musicians, Grammy-nominated singer, record producer, and founder of the legendary R&B group Club Nouveau, our friend and brother Jay King, to talk about the multifaceted funk frontman and visionary musician Sly Stone. For starters, Jay, how are you today, my friend?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate, even though I hate the fact that we have to do this. But every one of us has to do that dance with mortality. None of us gets out of here alive, and it is an honor to be talking with you about the maestro of a multifaceted hit-making band called Sly and the Family Stone. Just a broad question for starters, and we'll narrow it as we move through this time. When you think about Sly Stone, his catalog, his library, his musical corpus, you think what, J. King?
He was the beginning of a lot of what we are now. It's funny that you picked My Lady, because that's from his Life album. Mm-hmm. And the odd thing about the Life album is that it came after Dance to the Music, which was number 11 on the R&B charts, and before Stan, which was number 3. It did not chart.
Wow.
It did not chart on the R&B charts, and the music was so ahead of its time that it was years later that a lot of his records that were gold albums in that day became multi-platinum dozens of years later. Mm-hmm. And very few artists can do that and say that. So when I always championed for Sly Stone, I felt like he was the most underrated producer in our business. He was also overlooked at being the architect of multicultural bands. Before him, there was no band that had black, white, Hispanic, man, woman, women that played instruments not just sang,
That's right.
but that were vital parts as instrumentalists to a band. Before him, there were none. And he really, and then when you look at funk music and just what he did with funk and psychedelic and pop and R&B and how he fused them together with that gospel thing as a baseline to everything he did. It was just tremendous.
Yep.
You know,
when you mentioned gospel, my mind went to Cornel West, our friend and brother. Jay King, of course, is from Sacramento, California. Cornel West is from Sacramento, California. And we celebrated Dr. West's 72nd birthday just a week or so ago. And so I had him just telling the audience all kind of stories. I just walked through his life. And one of the stories he told, of course, was that Sly Stone was an organist. And at his church in Sacramento, Shiloh Baptist, that Jay knows rather well, Reverend Willie P. Cook was there for many, many years. Sly, the fifth Sunday of the month, would show up and play the organ at Shiloh Baptist Church. So Dr. West knew him as Sylvester Stewart before the world knew him as Sly Stone. The same is true, of course, of Jay King. Again, all of these people are from of course, Sly from Vallejo, but they're in Northern California. So Sly was, already well known in that area before the nation got to know him years later, of course, as Sly Stone. But when you said a moment ago that his music was ahead of its time, unpack that for me, Jay.
Well, if you go back and you listen to like Dance to the Music, Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself
Again,
Stand, Hot Fun in the Summertime. If you listen to those records, you think they're recorded in these big studios.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are recording on 8-track recordings. So for a recording to live and be relevant today from back then, that's what made Motown so special. For an individual, he was part of nothing other than himself. He wasn't part of a movement. He wasn't with a big label like a Stax or a Motown or anything like that. He was this guy that was just so talented. At 11, he's playing 6 instruments. He's making records with a gospel group with the Stewart Four or whatever they call themselves at the 13-year-old. He's producing white groups like the Bo Brummels and in the Bay Area. He's on the radio on KSOL. So he is to the Bay Area at that time what Frankie Crocker was to New York.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was cool on the radio, but, he was just everything, man. Sly Stone is just a special, special guy. I always speak of him when I talk about people that have been overlooked, the most overlooked, but it also tells you how funky the music business was and how they could just throw talent away because they had so much control between the record companies, the managers, and the lawyers, and how they could just control everything. It's what made Sam Cooke such a special individual and why people would think that they would kill him for his publishing.
Yeah.
It's what made Ray Charles such a special individual that he would know to ask for ownership of his masters when that wasn't even heard of. They took a lot of life out of Sly Stone, and which I'm disappointed about, but I love the fact that we are here today talking about how great he is.
So Jay mentioned one of my favorite songs a number of times. I did a documentary some years ago called Stand, and had a number of songs I could have chosen as the theme music when the movie opens up. I chose Stand by Sly Stone. Now, I know you've heard this song before, but particularly at a moment like this, with what we're dealing with here in L.A., with Donald Trump and the National Guard and the Marines and protests all across the country, I want you to listen. When we come forward, we'll let Jay unpack it. But I want you to, if you've never paid attention, I'm a lyricist, as is Jay. I want you to listen to the words of this song, Stand, let it ride for a couple of minutes so you can hear it. And when we come forward, we'll unpack it. This is Stand. Hear these lyrics from Sly Stone.
Set out to do. Stand, there's a cross for you to bear, things to go through if you're going anywhere. Stand for the things you know are right. It's the truth, that the truth makes them so alive. Stand. All the things you want are real. You have you to complete, and there is no deal. Too long. There's a permanent crease in your right and wrong. Stand. There's a midget standing tall, and a giant beside him about to fall.
Interrogating and unpacking.
That's what we do around here.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. June is Men's Mental Health Month, and my guy, it's time to talk. Men today face immense pressure to perform, to provide, to keep everything together. So it's no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year. Men are also less likely to seek therapy than women, which means depression among men often goes underdiagnosed. If you're a man and you're feeling the weight of the world, the strongest thing you can do is ask for help. Talk to someone, anyone, a therapist, a friend, a loved one, because real strength comes from being honest about what you're carrying and doing something about it. Therapy can help you find your way, and BetterHelp makes it easy to start. Take a short online quiz and connect with a qualified therapist from the privacy of home. Every man deserves better. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABC Radio for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABC Radio.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in.
But we're okay with that.
You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
J. King. Those lyrics on Stand. There's a midget standing tall next to a giant who's about to fall. You've been sitting much too long. There's a permanent crease in your right and wrong. Don't get me started, J. King.
Well, you know, I love when he say, Stand, they will try to make you crawl, and they know that they're not making no sense at all. Stand, don't you know that you are free? Well, at least in your mind, if you want to be.
That's it, man.
Dude. And do you know what number? Do you know what that record went to on the charts?
You said 3 earlier, right? Was it number 3?
No, the album went to number 3. The single went to number 14 on the R&B charts, number 22 on the pop charts, which was crazy to me, but not.
Yeah.
Because he was standing up against the authorities, and he did something that black artists weren't doing at that time, and that is crossing over into the mainstream, not because he wanted to, but because the people wanted him to, because he was speaking to the people. Powerful, powerful man.
Yeah. I only met Sly one time. Only met him one time. Had a brief conversation with him. I tried assiduously to get him to sit for a conversation. I never could. When his memoir came out a year or so ago, I went back again and tried to get Sly to come on just for a few minutes. I ended up having his memoirs on the program. We had a great conversation, but I couldn't really convince Sly to do it. As prodigiously talented as he was, he didn't talk a lot. He was rather quiet. And again, if you look into his corpus, as I've done, you don't find a whole lot of Sly interviews. It's one of the reasons, Jay, as you know, why I so celebrate my long friendship with Prince, because Prince didn't do a lot of interviews either, and he gave me more than he gave anybody. But there's something about these really mercurial guys who, in their head and their heart, they know where they're going, but they don't do a lot of talking about it, though, Jay.
Yeah. Sly was, he was in a battle with himself.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Because he's trying to, so me and Sly, we never talked. I saw him a few times.
Right.
But it was Bubba Hamp, who I was really good friends with. Bubba Hamp Banks was married to Rose, but he was a hairdresser as well. And Bubba Hamp is the reason why Larry Graham left the group. And you got to let Larry tell you about Hamp Banks. But they were all just a strange group of music. They were so beyond what music was. Larry slapping the bass because they don't have a drummer. That's how the slap bass happened. And Larry can tell you that. They don't have a drummer, so he's keeping the beat, slapping the bass, right? And they were just a strange group of creativity that was almost cosmic and space-like, because they were beyond where music was. And when people are like that, a lot like Prince was beyond where music was. And because of that, it just don't stop. What's in their head doesn't stop. It just keeps going and keeps going. And it has to come out. And sometimes they can't say words because too much music playing in their head.
Ooh.
So the fact that you got Prince to sit down as many times as you did was, you were special to him. You had to be special. I think I remember when Sly was working with Kevin Irving, who was a part of Club Nouveau at one time, and he would go to a studio. It was just a strange thing. You just knew not to. If he didn't say nothing to you, you didn't say nothing to him.
And that was the same with me and Prince. I mean, Prince and I, that's one of my best friends in the world, right? But I walk into the room, if that nigga didn't say nothing to me, I didn't say nothing to him. I would just follow his lead because, again, these mercurial artists, as Jay said, they got so much in their head. It comes out musically. They don't do a lot of talking. Our remaining moments with Jay King, we come forward celebrating the rich musical legacy of Sylvester Stewart, better known to all of us as Sly and the Family Stone on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada. Member FDIC.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Freedom is an endless meeting, so let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
I'm sorry, J. King, nothing funkier has ever been done than this track, Jay.
You know what? So I am going to remake a Sly Stone song at least once a year now. It's just, I've always talked about redoing some of the Sly stuff, but today I'm going to do it. I just sent my producer that I work with, not DOA, but another one, Ivan Johnson, said, hey, I want to work on a track for everyday people. But thank you for letting me be myself is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that you don't understand how groundbreaking it was in 1969, because that's when it was out. 1968, 1969. Listen to that, 50 years ago.
Yeah. What do you make of the fact? I got 2 minutes left here. What do you make of the fact, to your point now, that to my mind, I was thinking about this last night, Sly has been sampled like crazy, but not covered so much. Sampled, but not covered. What do you make of that, Jay?
Well, because people, you're intimidated by it. You're intimidated by Sly Stone because he was, he did a whole lot with very little. So now you got to ask yourself, what can I do? Because you can't, you don't want to overdo it, and you don't want to disrespect it.
Yeah.
So you sample it because you can create your own thing. When you remake it, you got to compete against the original. And so you got to do something different and innovative. And how can you do something different and innovative with a guy who's different and innovative in what he did?
I'm going to leave it right there. Jay King is not just the famed Grammy-nominated singer, record producer, and founder of the R&B group Club Nouveau. As you can tell, he's also a music historian. Jay and I have these conversations all the time about music. I'm always asking questions. We go back and forth. I love having music conversations with Jay King, hence my inviting him on this program today. You did it again, Jay. I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you soon, my brother.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Alexandria Icamoni with BIN News Now. The U.S. Attorney General says a person who allegedly threw rocks at federal law enforcement vehicles during protests in Los Angeles County has been identified. She says federal authorities will prosecute protesters who commit crimes.
You can run, you can't hide. We are coming after you federally. If you assault a police officer, if you rob a store, if you loot, if you spit on a police officer, we're coming after you.
Diddy and his legal team are once again asking for a mistrial. The defense attorney claimed that the government committed misconduct by providing the prosecution with evidence that they knew was false. The material in question involves the allegations that Diddy dangled someone from an apartment balcony. Many black people are still processing the death of music icon Sly Stone. Sly and the Family Stone had hits like Family Affair and Everyday People. Get BIN News Now on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Is this the This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's baseball teams got up the WNBA's new expansion franchise. Golden State held on for an 89-81 win at Crypto.com. The Sparks are 1-5 at home.